please read the problem. And it is actually asking to do 2 years, 2016 and 17, and everything is given here. Frames had asked you to determine whether the company's ability to pay current liabilities and total liabilities improved or deteriorated. That means they are comparing their own performance, whether they improved or not from 2016 to 17. And these are the items. And you are testing kind of their ability to pay liabilities. Right, one is your current liabilities, another is your total liabilities. So when you're gonna check your current liabilities, we will look at the current ratios. So I prefer to write down the ratio every time. E1418A. And you have to do it for 2 years, right? So first, they actually mentioned it. What are the ratios that you need to calculate? First ratio is known as current ratio. Current ratio. Right. So if you take a look at your formula sheet, it's very simple to remember. Current ratio means what? Well, current assets over current liabilities. Right. So I can write it down, current assets over current liabilities. But you have to know what are the components of your current assets. Right, we actually discussed it last class. Cash, short-term investments, account receivables, inventories. These are typical current asset item, or if you have any other type of receivables. These are usually the items, right? So some problems may tell you this is your total current asset. Like the last class we did it, it actually tells us this is your total current assets, right? But this problem, it's not telling me what is my total current assets. So I know these are the components for my current assets. Cash, short-term investments, account receivables or net receivables, and inventory. So what do you need to do? You need to add all those items to calculate your current assets. And since we are comparing with 16 and 17, you need to do it for both years. Let's do one at a time. Let's try to calculate the current ratio for 2017. So we know current ratio. Current ratio means the ratio of your current assets and current liabilities. Not working, right? What? No, you don't need to take the average. You realize that? Okay, good. Now, can you tell me, James, what are the components of your current assets? No. What did I say you? You have to take your current assets. So what are the items of your current assets? Who can tell me?
Cash, short-term.
Excellent. So these are the items. So who can tell me the numbers? John, you want to tell me the numbers? Cash? Cash is how much? 59,500. Go ahead. How much is your short-term investment? 28,500. And then? Great. What else? Okay, that means, James, you cannot take your total asset. You have to take only the current components of your assets. And some problems may tell you this is your total current assets. Some problem may not. They will just give you all items. So you need to know what are the current components: cash, short-term investment, net receivables, inventories. Now, Adam will tell me what is your current liabilities. It's actually given here, total current liabilities for 2017. So, total current liabilities. Courtney, you want to tell me? Total current liabilities? 285,000. Now tell me the ratio, or tell me if you add, what do you get? The top part? If you add all those, what do you get? Yes, Hannah. 475,950. Is it right? Everyone please check it. 15 or 50? 50? Or 15? I got it? Okay, Nina, can you check it and tell me what's your ratio? $1.67. Okay, you can round it, like 2 digits after the decimal is fine. Right, you can round it after 2 digits. 1.67. Great. We're gonna do the same thing, but this time I want to ask you to do for 2016. 2016. Emma, 2016. What are the items you need to consider for current assets? Cash, short-term investment. Okay, so can you tell me the items here? 49,500. Okay, so you can put 0, or you don't need to do anything here. 27,300, and then 284,960. And what is your total current liability for 2016? Yes? 208,000. Good. Now, what is your ratio? Current ratio for 2016? Right. Now, can you tell me about their performance? Whether they improved or not in terms of the ability to pay their current liabilities? Their condition is better or worse? Worse, because you see here, it was better, the ratio, right? So it went down. So they are asking about their ability to pay current liabilities. Well, it didn't improve. It gets worse, right? So we did current ratio. Now we're gonna do acid test ratio. The name is a little bit weird, acid test. So the difference between current ratio and acid test ratio is what? So for acid test ratio, when we're gonna do the top part, we will take only very, very liquid assets. And these are the 3 items you're gonna take. Don't consider your inventory, because it takes time to convert inventory into cash. How can you convert your inventory into cash? First you have to sell it, then you have to collect it, the cash from your customers, which may take time. So, acid test ratio, another name is quick ratio, it considers only very, very liquid assets. That means we're gonna consider cash, short-term investments, and net current receivables. Right, as your top part, and the bottom part is same, current liabilities. So, now we will do acid test ratio, or another name is quick ratio. So again, write down the formula, please. So the top part will be very liquid assets. Of course, all these are current assets. So cash is very liquid. Short-term investment is also liquid. You can sell it anytime and can convert it into cash. Short-term investments. Liquid means how quick you can convert something into cash without losing its value. And your account receivables or net current receivables. These are the 3 parts that should be your numerator or the top part, and the bottom part is current liabilities. Let's try to do it for 2017. I just want to see everyone is trying. Everyone is trying with your calculator. Let's try to do 2017. You did it, Daniel? Great. So Daniel, you tell me. Tell me the numbers, please. 49,500. Oh, it's 59. I'm sorry. 59,500. 28,500 plus 137, 150. Well, that's the three items and current liabilities. Yeah, it's the same, 285. Great. And what's your ratio? 0.79. Well, it says that if it's more than 1, that's good for you, but if it's little below than 1, it's also fine. Right. Now let's try to do it for 2016. And who can help me? Telling me the 2016's numbers. Yes, please, Kyle. 49,500, that's your cash. Okay, no short-term investments, and receivables are 127,300. Good. And your 208,000. Great, Kyle. Now, what is your quick ratio or acid test ratio? 0.85. So what do you think about this company's performance? Whether they improved or not, comparing 16 and 17? No. So their performance actually went down. And if you take a look at that, the main reason seems to be what? They are actually holding higher cash, right? If you compare 16 to 17, holding higher cash, holding higher receivables. But their liabilities is actually higher. Even after holding enough cash, short-term investments, and receivables, their liabilities actually increase more, right? That's why their ratio actually went down. So if you are the boss, you have to interpret it. What's the reason that our ability to pay short-term debt is actually going down? Right, and it's because of your liability part is getting bigger, right? If this denominator is getting bigger, then of course the ratio will go down. If the top part increases, then your ratio will go up. Now we will check their ability to pay total liabilities, and it will consider both their long-term liabilities and of course their current liabilities. And one ratio which is very, very common, especially if you want to take a loan, bank will first look at your debt ratio. For every company, they will ask you what's your balance sheet, what's your total liability, what's your total assets, right? Any lender will look at your debt ratio. So debt ratio, very simple to remember. Who can tell me the formula for the debt ratio? Yes, Anthony? Yeah. Total liabilities. Remember, these liabilities means both your current and long-term. Total liabilities over total assets. Right. Some problems may tell you this is your total liability. Some problem may only show the components. So you need to know what are included in your current liabilities, what are included in your total liabilities. Right? 2017. Let's try to do 2017. So total debt, total liabilities. Of course, total liabilities means your current liabilities, which is given here, and you have one long-term notes payable. Remember, Every type of payable is a liability. Payable means you have to pay. You feel obligated. You have to pay. Payable is a liability. Receivables. You are expecting to receive. These are assets. That means if I ask you to check what is their total liabilities, you have to consider both their current or short term. Another name of current is short term and long term. Right. That means their total current liabilities plus their long term notes payable. Excuse me. Okay, so let's try to calculate it. So, total liability, I just wrote our current liabilities, plus you have your long-term payable, which is 48,000. Excuse me. Total assets. What is your total asset? Who can help me? Total assets? Yes, sure. Total asset is here. 555,000. Thank you. Now calculate your debt ratio. You can tell me the total part or just the ratio. Whatever you like. Yes, Jason. Sorry? This 48,000 is your long-term liability. So if you look at here, you have another item, long-term notes payable. Every type of payable is a liability, and this is your long-term liabilities. We are considering total. That means your current plus your long-term. Yes? Oh, this is already included. Total assets means they considered all those from cash to everything. Right. So net receivables, inventories, everything is given here. So they actually gave you what is their total assets. Right. Some problem may not. Then you need to look at what are the asset items. So who can tell me the debt ratio for 2017, please? Mackenzie, it's 0.6. Great. Now let's try to do it for 2016, and then we can compare whether their performance improved or not. So tell me the numbers. Who can help me? Yes, Kai. 208,000. 30,140. Thank you very much. And what was your total assets? It's 486,000, right? And what's your ratio? 0.49. For debt ratio, you have to tell me higher is the better. True or false?
False.
False. Debt ratio, you always want to keep your debt low, right? So, what do you say about their debt ratio or their loan payment capabilities performance if you compare 16 to 17? What do you think? The company seems to be riskier or less risky? Riskier. Debt ratio actually increased, right? In terms of total assets, their liabilities are getting bigger. And higher the ratio, it's better. It's not good. It's worse for them, right? So that means in terms of their total liabilities, their performance actually decreased. Now, another ratio we're gonna do, which is time interest earned ratio, number D. And this ratio will tell you your capacity to pay your interest expense. So who can tell me the formula? I'm sorry, it's very dark there, but you can use your cell phone light, flashlight. Yes, someone please tell me the formula. Yeah, Courtney. Income from operation divided by interest expense. That means whether you are capable or not to pay your interest, right? Because if you cannot pay interest, then what will happen? The borrower will come and say, well, you have to sell your personal property, right? If it's a sole proprietorship or partnership, or you have to sell other assets and meet up our obligations first before doing any other business. Otherwise, you will be declared as bankrupt. You will not get any more loan. So tell me 2017's numbers. Yeah, who is talking here? Just be light. Yes, William. 164,350, which is given here, and your interest expenses, how much, William? 47,500, and your ratio is 3.36? 3.46. Right. That means your income is kind of 3.5 times than your interest. You're good. You can pay all of your interest expense, right? You have enough operating income to pay your interest expense. Now tell me about 2016's numbers. Income from operation, 159,260, and your interest expense is 42,000, which gives you 4.03. So you see here still they are not doing well because this time their time interest earned ratio actually went down from 16 to 17, which is not good, right? Well, they're still okay as long as it's more than 1. It's good. But you know, it's not that all of your operating income you will pay as your interest. So if it's more than 2, 3, higher is the better. Okay? Yes, Whedon, please. Okay, good question. What's the reason? Because maybe they have more liabilities, so their interest expense is getting higher, right? And their interest expense